The monster of the forest. Harry had always known the simplicity of life. At just 20 years old, he had spent his entire life in a quiet village nestled at the edge of a dense forest. The rhythm of his days consisted of woodworking in his small shop and helping his mother with the chores around their modest home. He was kind-hearted, always ready to lend a hand to anyone in need, and beloved by all in the village. One evening, after finishing a particularly tiring day of crafting furniture, Harry decided to take a trip to the nearby city to buy some supplies for his shop. The air was thick with the promise of a warm breeze, and Harry felt a sense of adventure stir inside him. He said goodbye to his mother, grabbed his bag, and set off toward the city as the sun dipped below the horizon. The path to the city was long, and as the night grew darker, Harry found himself deep in the forest, miles away from the village. The moon hung low in the sky, casting eerie shadows across the trees. His steps slowed as fatigue began to creep in. The journey had been exhausting, and he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease in the stillness of the forest. After walking for what felt like hours, Harry's legs gave way, and he decided to rest beneath a large oak tree. The rough bark pressed into his back, and he closed his eyes, letting the cool night air calm his nerves. But then, a sudden, booming laugh shattered the silence, causing Harry's heart to leap in his chest. Ha ha ha! The laughter echoed, deep and rumbling, coming from somewhere high above him in the tree. Harry sat up quickly, his eyes scanning the darkness. And then, to his horror, he saw it, sitting on the branches, a massive creature with the body of a man, but its face twisted into a grotesque grin. Who are you?" Harry stammered, his voice shaky with fear. The creature's eyes gleamed with hunger as it looked down at Harry. "I am the monster of the forest," it growled. "And you, boy, are my dinner." Harry's breath hitched. He had heard of the legends, tales of a terrible beast that roamed these woods, preying on those who ventured too far into its domain. But never had he imagined he would encounter it himself. What do you want from me?" Harry asked, his mind racing for a way out. The monster's eyes narrowed, and its voice dropped to a low growl. "I'm hungry, and you're my meal. But if you can give me something to do, something to keep me busy, I won't eat you." Harry's mind raced. He was a carpenter, and the thought of his life being in the hands of this terrifying creature seemed unreal. But desperation pushed him to think. "Work?" Harry asked, a glimmer of hope forming in his chest. "I can give you work." The monster's huge grin widened. "Yes, work. Make me busy, and I won't have time for you." Harry swallowed hard. "All right, I'll take you to my home. You can help me with the work there." The monster leapt down from the tree, landing with a heavy thud that shook the earth beneath them. Harry, though terrified, led the creature through the forest, his heart pounding in his chest. He had no idea what he was doing, but he had no choice. When they arrived at his small cottage, Harry's mother, an older woman with a gentle face, greeted him warmly. But when she saw the towering creature behind him, her expression shifted to one of disbelief. "Mother, this is the monster of the forest," Harry explained, trying to calm both her and himself. "He says if I give him work, he won't eat me." The monster, still grinning, raised a massive hand and nodded. "Work, yes. Busy me, and I won't be hungry." Harry's mother, wise and practical, seemed to think for a moment before speaking. "Well then, let's find something for him to do. But be careful, Harry." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. The monster did everything Harry asked with alarming efficiency. He cleaned the house in seconds, swept the garden with a few sweeps of his huge hands, and even helped with the intricate woodwork that Harry struggled to finish. His strength and speed were remarkable, but Harry knew it would never be enough. The monster could not be allowed to stay forever. There had to be a way to end this without it coming to an unfortunate end for him. One night, while Harry was sitting with his mother by the fire, an idea began to form in his mind. He turned to his mother, his voice filled with both excitement and concern. "I think I have an idea. Let's give the monster something to do that he cannot finish." His mother raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "I'll tell him to straighten a single hair follicle. A long, curly one," Harry said, his eyes gleaming with hope. "He can't possibly do it. It will be an impossible task, and once he fails, he'll have to return to the forest." Harry's mother considered this for a moment before nodding. "If that will free you from the monster's threat, then do it. But be careful. This could be dangerous." The next morning, Harry took the monster aside. He had one last task for him. "I have something simple for you to do," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Take this." He handed the monster a long, curly hair follicle, something his mother had kept for years, a symbol of her own wisdom. "I want you to straighten it." The monster looked at the follicle, its eyes narrowing as it studied the small, delicate object. He grabbed it with his enormous hands and began to twist and turn it, trying with all his might to straighten the stubborn curl. Hours passed. The sun set, and the monster continued his task, his massive fingers fumbling, unable to make any progress. Night fell, and still, the monster struggled with the hair. His frustration grew, his hands shaking with the effort. But no matter how hard he tried, the hair remained just as curly as when he started. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the monster dropped the hair in defeat. I cannot do it," he admitted, his voice heavy with exhaustion. Harry smiled. "Then you must return to the forest," as agreed. The monster, though frustrated and angry, knew he had no choice. He turned and lumbered out of the house, his massive form disappearing into the shadows of the night. Harry watched him go, his heart finally at ease. As the days passed, Harry's mother explained something that had always been true, but which Harry had not fully understood until now. "Harry," she said softly, "the monster was strong, but it lacked something far more important than strength. Intelligence. Wisdom. A clever mind is often more powerful than brute force. The body may be large and frightening, but without wisdom, it is just a shell." Harry nodded, the lesson sinking in. He had learned that no matter how big or strong someone seemed, it was the mind that truly mattered. And so, Harry continued his simple life, a life of carpentry, kindness, and wisdom. He had faced a monster and learned that true strength came not from physical power, but from cleverness and a heart that knew when to act with courage.